swear to God, you will not see this coming. Okay. I honestly, I'm shaking right now, and I'm not even, I'm an actor and I'm a filmmaker, but I'm not acting, and this isn't a bit. Okay. Okay. The reason it looks so real is the following reason. I don't even know how to say this, so I'm just going to say it. The reason it looks real is because it is real. What does that mean? Let me explain. What you're looking at right here happened. All of it. It didn't happen here. I'm not trying to lie and say, oh, you just aren't aware of these UFO crashes. No, no, no. They happened, just not in this timeline. You were looking at the world's, I'm freaking serious when I say this. You're looking at the world's first interdimensional video. This was from the interdimensional internet that I, by accident, well, sort of. It's a long story. I'll tell it later. I found the interdimensional internet that Cliff High predicted when he did the whole Joe Rogan thing, okay? I'm the guy. T. Patrick Murray, you're going to hear my name. Trust me. I just solved the Riemann hypothesis in mathematics. A lot of shit's been going on in my life that's I can't even explain, but I have talked to another dimension. I have gotten proof, and they've sent me a lot of proof. I've gotten the video from them. I've gotten a protocol from them, how to get on interdimensional internet, and it works. I have gotten, when I was working on Riemann, I got insights from them. Like they wouldn't tell me answers, but they would only give me they would be like, think about prime number sets within, they would give me directions to think, and I would think, and I would be encouraged by their thoughts, you know. I am the first, I'm going to make this super clear for everybody. I don't think I'm special. I think I'm lucky. I'm the world's first interdimensional time traveler. I created, through my physics work recently, I have discovered a way to have information travel through time. Think about it. If we're going to time travel, right, it's going to be hard for a human to be transported. Information is much easier. Information is light. Information is the most basic, you know.
Pretty sure they've already
it's
done
up there with atoms.
Isn't that what Willow was?
The entire fabric of the cosmos. And it's for that reason that we can send information back to the future. I'm sorry, back to the past. Or, well, let's just say this reality isn't what you think.
So one simulation hack you may or may not have noticed is that you can trigger an event that will force the simulation to start generating activity around you. So I peeked through my windows just a few moments ago and I saw there was no traffic, there are no neighbors, nothing is happening. But as soon as I step out into this section of the simulation, activity will begin. Let's test it out. Yep, here it goes. There's one. Number two.
It does seem to happen like that too.
Number three. Number four. Works every time.
P-part.
No.
This video proves something that I've been talking about for a while, and that is that the dragon carcasses were real. They're massive, much bigger than we had previously thought, and they're being used to extract oil out of their dead veins that have been there for thousands of years, and we would have never been able to see this without skyline photos like this, clearly showing the outline of a giant lizard-like creature with wings that is very close to a dragon. This is where they get the dinosaur bones from. I'm sure dinosaurs are real, but I know these things were also real as well at some point, and this is where they get all of their oil from, and they even call this place Flesh Pit National Park.
That's a weird name.
This is all the truth in plain sight that you should ever need. Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, where it's not such a mystery anymore, and they tell us that they got this oil from dinosaurs from millions of years ago. And there were dinosaurs, but there were also dragons as well, but they're trying to hide that from our history books. And don't even get me started on how some volcanoes are also the carcasses of some dragons as well, but I already made a whole video about that.
Remember, mercury is a living substance. This is just like water. In red mercury, when you put it in front of a mirror, you won't see the reflection. If you take mercury and you spin it in a circle like this, you create voltage. This is what, when you look at the old world buildings, the cathedrals, they had these orbs up on top of these cathedrals. Those orbs can contain mercury, and they're brass on the outside or gold on the outside. They're iron on the inside, and they got mercury in the center. And what would happen is if a lightning strikes or the bell would ring, you would get a spiral, which would take place, and you got free electricity, simply by just a little bit of mercury. Now, mercury in the mouth is a different story. What about red mercury? That's a great one. So red mercury is mercury mixed with iron oxide. Remember, mercury is a living substance.
I wonder
That's
what
it
makes
is.
it where you can't
Just
see
like
the
water.
reflection.
So when you mix mercury with iron, it'll actually put it together. It won't eat it, but it will put it together. And that's where the whole red mercury comes from. And red mercury, when you put it in front of a mirror, you won't see the reflection, which is really fascinating. It's invisible, is what's really cool. Now, if you take mercury and mix it with other metals, it will begin to eat them because it's a living substance.
Wow. Man, that thing was moving fast. Looks like it's below the horizon.
Some days,
Looks like it's below the horizon. Is this supposed to do that?
Ever seen where the rainbow touches the ground before? Because there it fucking is. Right there. Right there.
This James Webb Telescope is doing some funk shit today. Yeah. I think the James Webb Telescope is broken.
Entire 7-day forecast moving forward. That is right there. That's pretty interesting. Moving really fast. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. Just interesting stuff flying around the sky.
Look how fast he was going.
I don't know what's going on in DC, but something is definitely going on in DC. As you can see behind me, these are all homes being sold abruptly. This is not just regular people selling their homes either. This is politicians. God, that's not even the weirdest part though. Look what they've been searching up as of late in DC. One being immunity. Why would they be looking for immunity? Why is that the #1 search
breaking the law
in DC? What is going on, y'all? Also, they're searching up this too. Extradition. Why would they be looking that up? Look at the spike in those searches, y'all. Look, they go whoop.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they all get up out of here.
This up. 8 non-extradition countries in 2025. It seems to me that they trying to get up out of here. They trying to abruptly relocate and not look to come back or have someone bring them back. They must be running for some real serious shit. We all know that some sealed documents is finna be unsealed. And these people must got some crazy shit going on. I need y'all thoughts down below in the comments. What do y'all think is really going on?
I guess everyone's catching on now. People in Washington, D.C. are Googling some pretty weird stuff. I'm sure this is all coincidence, though. Let's just take a look at some of the,
Look at his face.
That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. I don't like seeing that one. What did these people do? Why? What did these people do? Why are they searching this? Why are they worried about that?
Man, I'd love to see these politicians get what they deserve, but I mean, might be one of them lizard people.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go.
Moon being suspicious.
That's actually
the higher-ups
loud.
are being slick with the moon. Garden Gang, we got him again. 6:49 early today. I go outside to check on the moon and bang, Look where it's at. Look at the position of it. 2:41, 4 to 5 hours before. Late at night, the moon is outside. Look how it's moving. Pay attention to the positioning of the moon in this clip. It was a few days ago, 7:16 a.m. Literally almost 30 minutes before this time. Look where the moon is at. Position lower, closer to the trees. Look at it now, 6:49. That's 20 to 30 minutes before that time. Look how high it is. These are not moon phases. It's piloted, and the pilot had one too many.
Yeah, I don't think it's normal for it to move that far in 20 minutes.
This video is for entertainment purposes only. Let's go. Are you kidding me? Who's gonna let a robot give them a haircut? Are we running out of that many barbers? Shh, shut up! This is ridiculous, guys. And look, this robot is sitting down. He got no hair. What hair is he cutting? Maybe it's not a bad idea. Maybe they could cut hair faster than a barber could. Come on! His homegirl pulled up. Shh, shut up! This is insane, guys. Look, he's still sitting down. Bro, you got no hair to cut. Get up and let somebody with some hair get a haircut, bro. Look at this. This is crazy, guys. Who authorized this? Shh. Shh. Shut up! This is insane, guys. You try to go and see a barbershop. You try to walk inside, make an appointment. When you get inside, your barber's still in his last person. He's cutting his hair. He's talking. And then after that, he wants to take a break, a coffee break. And then he wants to eat his lunch because it's getting cold. So now you're sitting there for another 40 minutes. Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purposes only. And to be honest,
I cut my own hair.
Shh. Shut up! Maybe I'll just walk in there and be like, give me a number 1. Done. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a bad idea, guys, and you can't lie. Think about it. You could go to the barbershop.
The difference between thinking there's a fire in the house and knowing there's a fire in the house. Mm-hmm. There's an emotional response attached to the second proposition, right? You're like, oh yeah, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Okay? Right. So the proposition, is this an actual alien civilization, went to full red in my head for a second. Like I was just convinced of that. Like the state that I occupied with my presence was just like, oh, this is an alien civilization talking to us. Now, I had this thought after 45 minutes after smoking DMT. I did not smoke anymore. In that instance, everything flashed white. I didn't smoke anymore. I don't even know how that's possible. Everything just flashed white, pow, like everything. And I heard whispers all over the room. It's like,
I can't lie, I've always wanted to try it.
Like, now, it wasn't English, but it was. I understood that that's what it was, right? I was like, and then a frog dude appeared right next to me, next to my bed, and he was as real as you. He was tangible. He was coherent, in space, standing. And in that moment, I was like, okay, I think I really did it this time. I was like, I was just staring at it. I was like, and then he basically, the whole room pointed at my guitar. And I was like, oh, they want to communicate to like music theory or whatever. I was like, I'm just practicing. I don't know anything about that. They're like, just go to the guitar. So got up, went to the guitar, pick up the guitar. He disappears from one side of the room and appears right next to me, like in the speed of light, just like right next to me. And then he puts his frog fingers where I'm supposed to strum and, you know, do the chords. Yeah. And he's like, do this. And I was like, and I'm trying to follow and I'm still, you know, I'm still like all shaken up. Yeah. And I'm like, so I'm trying to do this. And all of a sudden a melody starts to come out, like actual music. Slow, because I'm following slowly, but it's like, clearly this is a thing, right? And he's like, you don't know how to do this. I'm telling you how to do this. This is real information. I'm real. And I was like, I was just frozen. I was like, oh my God. And then in that instance, the only thing that came out, I just in the other room, I had an Airbnb guest. I was renting out the other room. It was a PhD postdoc, because I lived right next to UCLA, from Italy. His name was Marco. And I just exclaimed his name because I was just like, Marco! And it was like 2 a.m. So luckily he didn't get up, you know, because I always say, like, what would I tell him? That a frog dude from another dimension taught me how to play the guitar, right?
Yeah, you sound pretty crazy.
Heart of school, bro. Oh man, this is so scary.
And they just got their tents right in the middle of the street.
This feels even worse vibes than Hotel Caesar or Scientology. I might take this one off in the next 24 hours, or probably sooner. I was gonna go down more blocks, but I think this is it.
Yeah, it's a whole nother world out there.
I don't know y'all think, man. I am not having the time. Call it for more.
All right, lock in. You gotta know that they have to tell the truth. They have to expose the lies. Let me tell you why. What happens to a program when the programmer remembers that they're the ones who created it? What happens to a dream when the dreamer becomes lucid? Everything changes. And it's not a random change, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's a purposeful change. It's a change with intention. Everything that we're seeing in the governments, everything that we're seeing in society, everything that we're seeing in this entire reality is a purposeful change because the dreamer has risen. The programmer has remembered that this is a program. And any old programs that were running to keep the programmer asleep are being eradicated. This is what you're witnessing around the world. This is what you're witnessing in yourself. This is what you're witnessing in this universe. So stop putting the power out there. All the events that you're seeing is because you're waking up. The dreamer has risen. The programmer is back. Let's go.
A Bigfoot?
So if you don't know, I've been studying this phenomenon that we've been seeing, by the way, only in the United States, accompanied by really bad storms. It's about to get a lot weirder in 1 second. Like I've showed you in other videos, the same exact thing has popped up in multiple different states, always with a bad storm. Always the same exact colors, and no, it's not a transformer. Most of the time, these things are recorded in open fields when nothing else is around. Alright, remember how I said it's about to get weirder in 1 second? Check this out. Meanwhile, all this stuff is going on, the electronics in multiple cities have been going crazy and glitching. This is one video of so many, again, only in the United States. So what exactly is happening in the United States that brings a whole bunch of glitching in the sky, colors, and glitching with electronics? And not only is it electronics glitching and the sky glitching, some of the biggest and some of the heaviest hail we have ever seen in the United States have been falling every single day, just piling up so deep. This isn't even the same video I showed you yesterday. So I guess my question is, what's happening in only America where only this stuff is happening?
I knew it. I knew all that stuff had to be linked.
The miscommunication at points. The Supreme Court is now freezing $2 billion in foreign aid that President Trump and Elon Musk, thought that should be cut.
What
Do you
is
agree with
that?
Is that a slowing down of the process, or?
Yeah, Nephilim definitely were a thing. Look at the size of this fucking door. Look at the people below it in comparison to it. Do you see how massive that shit is? Why in the ever-loving fuck would you need a door that big for humans? And here another one. Look how big this shit is compared to this dude. It even has human-sized doors at the bottom of it. So what the hell was these for then? Shit. Here's another one. These just are all over the world, just huge-ass doors. Which would also explain these huge-ass fucking steps. Look at the people in the size comparison to these steps.
Yeah, those are
huge. These shit was definitely made for giants. Then we got these big-ass books. Why would we need a book that big? That shit was not made for us, or made by us. And I'm sure we all know an old person that be reading from them huge-ass books, like your grandma got a big-ass Bible or something.
Hey, y'all seen this yet? That would be my line. Anyways, have y'all seen this yet? We talked about the petrified giants and whatnot. Check it out. I'm gonna do a longer story on this one right here. This giant snake, man. You can see the scales, dude. Or shall we talk about this giant leaf that's like 6-7 feet long? Where do you think that came from? I mean, seriously. My favorite is these alleged mountains, huh? I mean, you can even see the rings on the inside of it, just like a tree, man. That's something to think about. Some people are like, oh, where'd they all go if they chop them down? Well, there's one right there, allegedly. Here's a good comparison right here. See up there, that's the mountain. And then look, over time, look what happens. Allegedly. This right here is very interesting. I don't know if it's petrified giants or not, but it's petrified something. I mean, to me, that looks a lot like roots of a tree. And again, I mean, that even looks like the little wrinkled up skin on the elephant's trunk, his nose, you know what I mean?
Perhaps it happened with next to no notice, no warning. And then a wall of water comes, flooding the earth, burying them and preserving them at the bottom of the muddy water steps. And then, once the water levels started to recede, all that mud and soot that was once underneath the water hardens into stone. Generations later, the landscape captures that moment.
A 33-year-old woman comes in with a 14-day history of menstrual bleeding and 49 days since her last menstrual period. What they find in the liver is this, a baby. She had an ectopic pregnancy in her liver. We see these sometimes in the abdomen, but never in the liver. This is a first for me. Have you ever seen this?
That could really happen?
The Super Bowl, well, they actually use the World's Fairs buildings of New York and other places, and there's electric towers that surround them. This is why the coliseums or the stadiums that they use are in a bowl. You always think of all the stadiums, all the football, soccer, sports, it's always in a bowl. The reason it's in a bowl is because that energy is being taken from the fans, being interjected into the players, and they're harnessing or harvesting that energy. The mind is influencing the players the entire time. And this is how powerful the mind really is. But we're not taught that. Because if we started to understand that people could group together and be very powerful, then that's a threat to the system. And when it's interesting, because when you look at the Super Bowl, you know, the whole Super Bowl, well, they actually use the World's Fairs buildings of New York and other places, and there's electric towers that surround them, because they understand that the Roman circus is actually harnessing energy and the ether the entire time. They're just using it in a different way. They're making you entertained while you watch the sports, and not tell you that it's taking your energy that whole entire time.
Tell me if you're feeling this.
Energy that whole entire time.
Whoa.
Creatures are called the Vril. They come up from underground different spots all over the world. There's a 1 to 1.5 foot tall one. That's the Vril Type 1.
The Type 1s are covered in red diamond-shaped scales. Vril Type 1s are real dumb.
Little dragons, those are the Vril Type 1. These lizards have a unique biological property of their body. The lizards have what's called a proboscis. It's an ejectable brain and spinal column. The small ones they use to drone people, because the proboscis on young lizard Type 1s, they're small enough to go into an eye and not ruin the eye. This top cap thing on the top of their head comes out. They can do this once in their life. It pulls their spinal column along with it. The humans would have to be restrained or unconscious. The thing swiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch. It then starts what they call spinning. The spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead, and it can't go back in. It's one way. The juice that's in the spinal cord gets excreted out of the tip of this thing. They're parasitic cells. The parasitic cells go into the brain. The old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human. Over time, it'll develop a rash, it'll lose its hair.
And they're actually deficient. They're dumber than the original person.
And they mimic human behavior. It knows that its life is dependent on it mimicking human behavior, so it does really well. Even with other animals, it's smart enough to instinctually mimic the animal's behavior. The drones of 100 years ago erased any existence of these Vril lizards from like Egyptian carvings on walls. They would smash them, or books that had anything in them about them, they would burn them.
I hope this thing's not real.
Now we're getting
Ugly
into the
looking
agitation
thing.
weapons, which are the smaller miniaturized version, which have been developed for both battlefield and also for close quarter urban conflict, riots, where they can actually create behaviors in individuals by attenuating a very, very tight and certain frequency range that can make your heart resonate. They can stop heartbeats. They can resonate with the lungs at a different attenuation. They can make you have trouble breathing. And the really frightening part is, well, not that stopping your heart isn't pretty frightening, but also they can actually make the different folds of your brain at different frequencies, different folds resonate at different attenuation of this particular frequency range, and can cause confusion, agitation, violence, and hearing voices in your head.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Because I just went down a huge rabbit hole over on XDX, and I need your help. So my questions are this. They say allegedly that this map hangs in an office somewhere inside of the UN. I don't know if that's true or not, but what I am going to say is, what the hell's up with this map? Because it looks an awful lot like this map. And if you have seen my video on this map, you know exactly what I'm fixing to say. I want you to pay attention up there where it says Asgard. This is another map that I found over there on XDX. This is that map blown up. Here's that map blown up again. Look what it says. What's that say? Asgard. Here's that map again. Asgard. So with Asgard being up there, does that mean that's a play on this map? Because Asgard is on both of these maps. And if you look in the upper left corner over there, this map has a verse in German, and it is Enoch 18 verse 4, which says, "And I saw the winds which turned the sky and caused the disk of the sun and all the stars to set. I saw the winds on the earth which support the clouds, and I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. So this map has a verse, Enoch 18:4, which talks about the firmament, which allegedly this is what our planet looks like. It's flat on the bottom and then it has a dome. So is Enoch affirming this map? And when you type this in on Google, this is the answer you get. Long lost under... And look what's circled up there. You see what's circled up there? That's going to lead you to my next question. Look at this. Look at that area that's circled up top. And then looky here. But is this a mirror? And is it really showing us what the earth looks like from above? I mean, if you look at this picture, it breaks it down and it makes complete sense, y'all. Like, this is crazy. I never would have thought of this. And if you look at this part of the map, it looks like this place, Hyboria. And if you look at the top up here, that's Asgard at the top. And you know Hyboria was supposed to have existed thousands and thousands of years ago. It's supposed to be set in prehistoric Europe and North Africa. And it's supposed to have included the Atlanteans from Atlantis and the Lemurians from the Inner Earth. And the Hyborian Age emerged after a flourishing of civilization after the drowning of lost lands. But seriously, does this not look like Hyboria? Y'all, what? I'm telling you it does, because Asgard is literally right there. And if you look at this map, there's Hyboria, and then Asgard is way north. But I want to show you something else. This was published in 1907. Was this world map made 10 centuries ago, 1,000 years ago? And they're referring to the map that's up there. That coincidentally looks a lot like this map. Don't you think? There's a lot of similarities there. This is a map that came across from China all the way to a doctor in Honolulu in 1907. And this map was allegedly made by Chinese priests over 1,000 years ago. And it was found by his brother in a Japanese temple in the mountains of Japan. And according to a letter, the original map was brought from China by a Buddhist priest and concealed in that temple. And this doctor said that his brother would not be treated by modern medicine, even though his brother was a doctor. He wanted to go into the woods and learn the cures and to be able to cure himself. And he went into the woods, and that's the map that he found when he was on his map here of the Middle Earth. So did Tolkien make this map up, or did Tolkien know something and put it out there without putting it out there? You know what I mean? I don't know. And while I got you, I want to show you one more thing. If you look directly above me, this is a clock that is in the middle of Prague. And this clock has literally malfunctioned, been damaged because it caught fire, allegedly. But if you look at this clock, and then you look at this moon map over here on the right-hand side that tracks all of the zodiac signs because of the moon cycles and phases, y'all, what? I mean, I'm not saying anything, but if it walks like a duck, looks like a duck...
Does winning the lottery seem impossible? This next story might sound even more unreal. A company just brought back an extinct animal, if I can get it out, for the first time ever. These not-so-threatening howls are from baby dire wolves. Meet Romulus and Remus. They were born October 1st and have grown a bit in the past 6 months. Dire wolves have been extinct for more than 10,000 years. But today, Colossal Biosciences, the world's only de-extinction company, announced their successful rebirth. Now, if these animals look familiar, it's because they became famous from the series Game of Thrones, but a lot of people assumed that they were a mythical creature. I did not know we were in that business.
Did y'all know that there are black holes in the ocean called eddies that can last for months and even years? I gotta bring out the Chuck Bass eyes for y'all to understand. Years. Do y'all... Like, black holes? Where does it lead? What's in there? Why does it last for years? And it can be up to 150 kilometers. Look up how big that is. Please look up how big that is. The fact that there is so much going on in the ocean that we don't know about, that we are purposely being kept in the dark about. Let's talk about the 1970s. In the 1970s, the Navy put sensors on the ocean floor to try to be able to detect things like submarines and other equipment. They found that there are not only structures in the ocean, but things resembling UFOs that travel at lightning speed on the ocean floor. This was in the 1970s. And of course, y'all remember Congress just talking about there's a presence in the ocean, UAPs. This is old news, but they're trying to present it as new news. I promise you there's more than that 5% of the ocean discovered. They just have not told us about it yet. Oh yeah, TikTok this for entertainment purposes only, none of it's true. Also, just whole other topic. Did you know that if you were to fall off a cruise ship or any kind of ship in the middle of the ocean and stay in that ocean for 3 days, the salt water would start to molt your skin off your bones? Yeah. Have y'all heard of Point Nemo? The farthest you can possibly be from land. And do y'all know about the fact that NASA dumps space equipment in Point Nemo? I'm gonna tell you something right now. I truly believe that there's something else going on at Point Nemo, not just space junk dumping.
What in the fuck knuckles is this?
You can see Dick Cheney, Al Gore, all 9 Supreme Court justices shapeshift into reptilians. Did you know that for thousands of years, creatures from the constellation Draco have been mating with humans to form a super race that includes 43 U.S. presidents, most members of Congress, and the entire British royal family? Do you believe that intelligent life exists on other planets?
First contact between humans and extraterrestrials took place over 100,000 years ago in Atlantis and in its sister civilization in the Pacific, Lemuria. Ancient civilizations on every continent have recorded evidence of these encounters. These visitors were highly advanced that did not appear in human form. Now, the Mayans called them Chanes, people of the serpents, and in Hebrew legend, the snake represented knowledge. Of course it did. It was not human. Not of this earth. History is replete with stories of the heroic destruction of serpents. Perseus and Medusa, St. George and the Dragon, St. Patrick and the Snakes of Ireland. But these are not merely legend. And the natural form of these invaders is not human.
They gotta let you know what they're doing through the movies and the TV shows. It's crazy. I think this world really is ran by. They're trying to get rid of it.
It's 10 times more creepy. Stay tuned for part 2.
It's pretty blurry. I couldn't really tell what it was. They're trying to get rid of us.
Okay, so this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I'm in Vero Beach, Florida, and this line goes straight down, goes all the way up. I'm following it up. Okay, now it's above us. That line goes all the way through the clouds, all the way to there.
I know you can't hear it, but there's a weird hum coming from the sky. It's like a hum.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that. Kind of sounds like a train.
Minneapolis. This is pus.
Ugh.
Because this whole thing had an abscess. And so when I went to go bite in it, pus shot out from the meat. There's like a cavity left behind where all the infection and the abscess was. So that means that this chicken, let's see, I had a horrific infection at its joint. And all the chickens either looked so sickly that it passed multiple levels of quality control and inspection to get to me, or the birds are just like so artificially plumped that they can't even tell. There's a giant, horrifically painful, debilitating abscess at the joint here. And then these chicken wings get sold to a bar.
Quick off. They dramatically change your appearance. And we started using them and found them.
You're talking about like Jim Carrey the man, Jim Carrey the performer. Are you more comfortable as one or the other, or is that like, are they even mutually exclusive?
I don't exist. So they're all characters that I've played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. Those who wish to masquerade for the rest of this virtual game sometimes are made really uncomfortable by it. You know, they're like, it really looks like a mask beside somebody who's not wearing a mask.
What you are calling an operation, we call a performance. That's what we do. We put on performances. And before we start working on that performance, we have to define the stage that the performance is going to take place on. Then you have to know who your audience is, who are you playing to, who are you trying to fool.
All wear masks, metaphorically speaking.
Then they showed us some tools that they used. The one that really caught our eye is what's called a stunt double mask. You all know how they're used. When the movie star is so famous are so good looking that they can't risk damaging him. We like the idea of stunt double masks. They're quick on, they're quick off. They dramatically change your appearance. And we started using them and found them to be valuable to our operations. But that audience piece of it did not allow you to get close enough to one of those masks before the illusion fell apart and you thought it was a mask. So we went back to our disguise labs out at Langley and we invented a whole new genre of masks. Masks that are so good, that are so realistic, that you can actually get up close and have a personal contact with someone for an extended period of time. They're good enough that you can brief the President of the United States in the Oval Office wearing a mask. And he isn't sure if it's you or if it's someone else. Those masks were the beginning of a whole new generation of work that we did at the CIA. Once we could make these masks that fit you so well, then we discovered we could make a twin. We could make another you. There could be two of you. We could actually make 5 or 6 of you, but usually one extra was all we needed.
Holy shit. Look, Daddy got a goddamn butthole on his face.
Dallas Coleman, weather. And now, Buffalo's #1 news team.
Good evening and welcome to Eyewitness News. Way to keep alert.
Probably just fine. Evan, read the copy, please. The copy's good. Just read it.
And I had these terrible headaches, was diagnosed with having anyway, they had to take the top of my head off a couple times, see if I had a brain.
Okay, I don't know how to explain this one properly, but this is absolutely crazy. TikTok, this is just for entertainment. Okay, so Elon Musk, who owns the Neuralink company that's putting microchips into people's brains, he was born in 1971. In 1972, a year later, there was a song released called Watch Out for 666, and I have to show you the lyrics. I can't believe this song was made a year after Elon Musk was born. Watch out for 666. In a vision of the future, I saw in a vivid dream that the hour is incoming when men will become machines, a new one world order will rise and then demand that all the world's people receive their scientific brand. I saw a tiny pre-programmed computer chip so thin implanted in men's foreheads, underneath their skin, linking all its bearers to the system's central brain, the master computer that over them will reign. Watch out for 666 and their computer chip that is designed to strip you out of your self-control. Don't sell your soul. Men's thoughts will be programmed by this new technology. Those who take the number, their slaves will always be, so hearken to this warning. If it's life and love you choose, then you'll follow the truth and the mark you will refuse. Watch out for 666 and their computer chip that is designed to strip you out of your self-control. This is a song that was released a year after Elon Musk was born. Yet he started a company putting microchips into people's brains. What is going on in this world? Obviously, once again, this was just for entertainment.
I captured this satellite image February 2025. It's 63 miles from Bouvet Island. I know that because I measured it. And the square footage of the cloud, which seems to be over 200 square miles, which is really normal for a perfectly natural right-angle cloud that's 63 miles from the world's most remote island. Really nothing to see here. And so much stuff gets blamed on it, like cyber attacks and the blob anomaly, which just happened to be emanating from right where the island is. And EMPs, even, like these documentary filmmakers who went to bury a time capsule on Bouvet, and there seemed to be a flash. If we look again, it's almost coming from beneath the surface of the ocean. But really, it's just an innocent island with a perfectly natural right-angle cloud. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the comments.
Humans have ever orbited over the poles in outer space. Now I'm going to show you a bunch of different things, but first off, didn't they say we've gone to the moon and we're on the way to Mars? So forgive my skepticism, I'm just wondering why this would be the first time that humans were able to navigate above the poles from, again, outer space. Now, it's actually really interesting because a video surfaced a while ago showing something questionable, allegedly, in the North Pole. So sorry about the quality and the bullcrap people have on their screens. Now, this video surfaced years ago. I remember when it came out, and I do not believe it's been properly debunked. And it's showing a massive vortex in the North Pole. Now, you might also know of a massive vortex in the North Pole from Saturn, the wandering star. And also the inner Earth stories from Admiral Byrd, where his private journal said he went inside of the Earth. So the question is this legitimate? And even farther, let me show you this. These are allegedly all the satellites that are up in space or low Earth orbit right now as we speak. You can literally go to a site like I did and show them live, supposedly flying around. If this was happening, will we not have the most undeniable 4K video evidence ever? And lastly, look how fast these things are allegedly moving. They are flying. Millions of square miles covered in seconds. So my question is simply this: where is all this extraordinary technology that we have?
Fiction means it's a made-up story. Fiction means it's a made-up story.
But why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
The person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet.
First of all, lad, we've got to get all these medieval ideas out of your head. Clear the way for new ideas. Knowledge of man's fabulous discoveries in the centuries ahead. Now that'll be a great advantage, boy.
Advantage indeed. If the boy goes about saying the world is round, they'll take him for a lunatic.
The world is round? Yes, that's right. And it also goes around.
Enough up to see what the Earth looked like was a guy named Auguste Piccard. Most of us have never heard of this person because when he made it to the stratosphere, he said he saw what appeared to be a flat disk with an upturned edge. Now, after Auguste Piccard ventured to the stratosphere, we have the U.S. Air Force showing us the stars from space for the very first time. And when you look at what they showed us, what they actually saw, you begin to understand why the moon landings never had stars in the background, why they're not showing us stars from space anymore, because it's very difficult to pull this off.
The sky is deep black.
So you can see the stars.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
The sky, of course, was black.
The heavens are 10 times as bright. Stars 10 times as numerous.
And we cannot see stars.
The thing about Carl Sagan, billions, there really are billions and billions of stars, and you can see them.
It's an unfathomable blackness, like with a texture you feel like you could stick your hand into.
And that's when things start to get weird, because people have gone back and looked at declassified documents that for some reason keep mentioning a flat, non-rotating Earth. Over and over again, it's in their flight plans, it's in all their working models. This flat, stationary Earth repetitively keeps showing up. If it doesn't exist, there'd be absolutely no reason to base all of your science on it. Something else shows up. In the 50s, in Russia, they had documents describing the firmament.
Deals. It's a long fly ball going back, and the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the state.
I don't want to keep putting the flat earth stuff in all my videos, but I mean, as long as there's people out there that don't know about it, I'm just trying to get them to question things. If they catch them in one lie, then it might just open the floodgates and then they just start questioning everything. That's pretty much why I keep putting it in the videos.
I just reviewed this and I'm upstairs alone.
At the sky, oh my god.
Come on, dude. It's aliens. What the fuck? It's aliens. Dog appearing out the sky. What the fuck? It's aliens coming from the sky. Look, that shit appearing out the sky for real. What the fuck? Nigga, you don't see that shit? That shit appearing out the sky like it dropping. What the fuck is that, y'all?
I actually recorded this. It's going to be the next video up. I thought it was my camera glitching, but I don't know after seeing this. Doing the same thing. This guy's glitching out. So weird.
Absolutely terrific. And then we're going to hop back to the States and see what's happening here. I've seen videos in these buildings I'm about to show you, and my goodness, people just laid up in the rubble everywhere. I can't even say much about it, otherwise the video won't be allowed, but it's horrifying. And so this crane you're seeing right here, I might have it blocked, there was actually people in the crane, and when it went down, they fell out of the crane. Like, it's bad. This is the view probably half a mile from that main building that you keep seeing that exploded. This has to be one of the worst earthquakes that have ever happened in Bangkok. What you saw in the beginning was actually the aftermath of this earthquake. Like, all of these buildings are just straight up destroyed, going out miles and miles and miles. So you might have seen yesterday that Texas was underwater, but have you seen what's happening in Mexico? You know, I've never in my life seen this much natural destruction going on everywhere. Once in a lifetime storms popping up every day in different states and countries. And it's also flooding in like 10 other countries right now. And while the flooding is going on, the Carolinas now has 10,000 acres burning in 0% containment. Oddly enough, it's right around Lake Lure and those areas that got impacted by Helene. Not related whatsoever, but very odd. I'm telling you, the world that we live in today is very different from the one that we grew up in.
I don't find it weird after everybody been praising Thailand and how beautiful it is, how the cost of living, all of that, right? They have an earthquake.
Very interesting times we live in. The shift this year. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Elon Musk sells X to his own XAI for $33 billion in all-stock deal. Just another example of taunting people like me and mocking people like you.
I can prove to you guys that Facebook listens to everything you say. Look at the phone. Emily, move the phone over. See, this is random stuff. I want to buy a laundromat. Laundromat, laundromat, laundromat.
You need a kick. I can't stress how important this shit is. You need a kick to wake you up out of those rabbit holes you're gonna fall down. Because when you go down them rabbit holes, that's the only thing that's gonna save you is some type of kick. Something to remind you, okay, I'm in a rabbit hole. I need to climb back to the surface. It could be an object, a place, a person in your life. You need a kick, bro. That shit is so important. Because with all this new knowledge that you're learning, it's highly likely you're gonna get lost along the way. You're just going to get lost in a sea of knowledge, rabbit holes, conspiracies. So I hope this video finds the right people because you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Imagine anyone remember this.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandra Bullock.
And I'm Joe Torres. We begin with the breaking news about Hillary Clinton's death. We begin with the breaking news about Hillary Clinton's death.
This video shows Clinton leaving early, and as she tries stepping into her van, she wobbles and slumps. Secret Service agents and aides quickly grab her and hold her up. Two law enforcement sources telling CNN she appeared to faint. Then, Clinton taken to her daughter Chelsea's apartment 3 miles away. More than an hour later, Clinton emerged smiling.
It's a beautiful day in New York.
Even taking a picture with a young girl before climbing into her motorcade and heading home. Her campaign says she was even playing with her 2 grandkids inside. Yet hours later, her doctor revealed the 68-year-old was diagnosed with pneumonia 2 days earlier.
Get some water.
After an evaluation for her prolonged cough.
In preparation for this interview, I watched a lot of your interviews, and I noticed you never sweat, like physically.
You guys are the first to realize that I'm really not even a human being. I was constructed in a garage in Palo Alto a very long time ago. People think that, you know, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, they created
They don't even know.
Oh, no. I mean, a man whose name shall remain nameless created me in his garage.
Let's talk about this man. You're about to see him highlighted on your screen momentarily. On the far left of your screen. He's in the background on the left-hand side of your screen. He is called the Mystery Man. He's the mystery handler, actually. We don't dabble in conspiracy theories on this program, but we ask this question. Who is he? Hold on a sec. If he's actually a member of the Secret Service detail guarding Hillary Clinton, why is he touching her? Because he did. He came up on the set, on the stage the other day, put his arm around her, and then said, keep talking. Surely that is not the... Look, he's doing it. Keep talking, keep talking. Touching her. That's not what the Secret Service is supposed to do, is it?
Elton's not going to do phony makeovers to please others. So knowing you don't want to engage in phony makeovers, give us 3 words that is the real Hillary Clinton. Just 3.
Just 3? I can't possibly do that. I mean, look, I am a real person.
Survivors of LDS.
Just 3.
Just 3? I can't possibly do that. I mean, look, I am a real person.
A real person wouldn't have to say that. This guy's account got banned right here because of this Hillary Clinton video. He might have been onto something, but he reposted it onto one of his other profiles.
Bedroom window. Am I the only one that see this? Yo, am I the only one that see this? I just finished praying and I look out my window and this is what I see. I've never seen it like this before. This is nutty. Y'all look at that. This is great. Do y'all see what I see?
Was so loud.
A lot of videos of stuff flying past the moon.
Hello, my friends. I haven't been posting on this account of mine for a while, and what I think I'm gonna
use plastic in unique ways to help reduce global pollution. One team has broken down plastic waste and turned it into a molecule that tastes a little vanilla-ish. How one artist now uses the product to make ice cream.
It's been proposed that we could weigh a hard drive before data is encoded on it, and then again after data is encoded on it. Or take a hard drive that has data encoded on it, weigh it, erase the data, and then weigh it again.
Right.
There will be a mass differential.
Okay.
So there's mass inside a computer that's not anything to do with the microchips or the transistors or magnetic tapes or anything. It's a hidden mass.
That's kind of crazy.
We need to investigate everybody who worked on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Because somebody who was in that room is a time traveler, and I am sure of that. If I were to tell you 13 years ago a game developer would predict the future, you'd probably call me crazy, right? But stay with me. You see, Black Ops 2 was released in November of 2012, and in every single Call of Duty game, there's a campaign. And in the campaign of Black Ops 2, China and the United States are in a Cold War. But why exactly did China and the United States get into a Cold War? As it says right here, it's because China stopped exporting rare earth elements, which is something that sounds ridiculously insane, like that would never happen. Only yesterday, that's what China did. You may be thinking, oh my gosh, this is a reach. It's a video game who said sometime in the future this would all happen. But it gets even crazier when you realize when Black Ops 2 was set. Because in this video game, it's not set in 2012. In fact, it is set in the year 2025, as in the year 2025 that we are in. Meaning that 13 years ago, the game development team that was building Black Ops 2 accurately predicted all of this down to the exact year that this is happening.
Now, I don't know how many of you guys played video games back in the day, but a year before Black Ops 2 came out, a game called Homefront, it released, and the storyline to that game is the United States gets invaded by North Korea. And pretty much the storyline to the game is us fighting against North Korea. And Homefront takes place in 2027. So Black Ops 2 was in...
There's no mic stand. And now there's a mic stand. Because even when it backs up, it's like not near her body at all. No mic stand. Because there's no stand. Mic stand.
Moon, the skies, you're in the eclipse. Remember I told y'all about the nodes conspiracy? So this dude's got the solar glasses on the camera, right? And he's looking at this eclipse. He takes them off, pans over this way, and the moon's there. Explain that. All right, so here we got the moon. Now watch, he's going to put his solar glasses on, cover his phone screen up, boom, to show the eclipse. This is the eclipse. The eclipse is happening right now as we speak, meaning the moon should be in front of it. What is that right there? Is that the moon? Some people say it's Nibiru. People say it's different things, man. Look, that's the solar eclipse glasses. He's covering them up. So this isn't fake. This isn't a hoax, nothing like that. You know, people have been talking about Rahu and Ketu. which are basically invisible celestial bodies that cover up their nodes, north and south nodes. They cover up the sun during the time of the eclipse. Allegedly. It's all alleged, everybody. Don't freak out. You know, just kind of watch it and see what you think.
Man, when you think about this, it's actually pretty crazy because now that I think about it, I've never seen the moon pass in front of it. All you see is just pure black just go past the sun. So, I mean, they might be right. Whatever it is, just we might not be able to see that light spectrum. Could be from another dimension. I don't know. But I think it's pretty cool. It's definitely very interesting.
All right, y'all, look. It's not just Jamaica they be doing that shipping container shit. See that? See that train? Whole container with a freezer on the back. Let me show you. It's a freezer on the back of that motherfucker. They got it parked right in the neighborhood where people can see it from the street. See that? Listen to it.
Still running.
I think it's a lock on that motherfucker, man. You see, when shit intended for a certain area, this is what they do. They put it there.
Is that an air conditioner?
Safety announcement. Proceed to your assigned master station as we are fixing a major water problem.
He didn't want to say. They're acting like those towels are gonna do something.
Fucking explain to me how a fucking waterfall works. Where does this fucking water come from? It just unlimited water comes down forever, and then you might say, oh, it comes from like a lake or an ocean. What, there's an ocean on top of the fucking mountain? Where the fuck does this water keep coming from? Oh, is it snow melting? What are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? It just comes unlimited forever? It's just unlimited water comes down? Where the fuck does it come from? And if it comes from an ocean or a lake, does it just climb up, defy gravity? And you might say, Arya, are you on fucking drugs right now? No, I'm not. I'm just curious because I don't think anybody actually knows where the water comes from.
Tell me if you're feeling this way.
It's like square with the white circle in it.
Bro, that's moving slow.
That's weird.
Here, let me turn those lights on.
What was that? Look, do you see the circle it just shot out?
Oh.
Chris. Look, what does it do?
It's blowing smoke rings.
No way.
Ew.
I got on video.
Look, it's like dispersing. What happened?
Look at this.
What the fuck is that?
Jana, look up.
UFO thing.
This crowd is already dead. And it knows.
We gotta talk about this.
What is that?
That's venom, bro. That's venom right there. Yo, my name French Dose, man. I do this for educational and entertainment purposes only. Y'all don't believe that's venom? Y'all don't believe that aliens is in the ocean? Let me show y'all another clip. What is that, bro?
It looks like venom.
Aliens is in the ocean, man. Pay attention. These creatures that you see in the ocean, they can't really breathe like that on land. So it comes up on land, it does what it does, and then it goes back in the water. I guarantee y'all that there's portals down there. And this fella right here probably has family that's bigger than him. Right? That's in other dimensions. It has to be, bro. The deeper you go in the ocean, the darker it gets. It's just a fact. Where is that going? Just think about that. Where are you going? The deeper you go in the ocean, they tell you that you could go deeper than, like, it's extremely deep down there.
Single thing, there's nothing normal about these clouds because they're not clouds, guys. These are not clouds. Alright, I'll see you guys later.
Welcome, family. Today, we have something special. Remember all that commotion when I was trying to explain to people that the airplanes leaving the trails are holographic? People had a hard time wrapping their heads around it. Some even laughed. Well, today, I bring you more evidence and proof of my claims. In this footage, the airplane has not manifested correctly. The mechanism that creates the airplane has become visible, and vectors and gears can be seen as they render the simulation in real time. As you can see, this type of holographic technology is not usual and does not display any of the attributes of holographics as we know it. I have said previously that this technology is supremely advanced and is not human technology. This is fourth density technology and has the ability to create any form in a four-dimensional manner. It's not humans doing the spraying.
Crazy. Just crazy. It's kind of crazy because this guy...
These little sun halos?
There's so much weird stuff going on in the sky, you don't know what to believe.
Some days, it's the little things that... Have a great day.
That thing we see in the sky, like, I don't care what anybody says, that is not the sun. And all the detailed pictures you see of the sun, those are all fake. Like, they look CGI. I think they're CGI. The sun does not look that way. I want to know how they did it all. And if that's not the real sun, what happened to the real one?
The firmament caught on camera. This person left his Nikon in the snow and he caught the firmament rotating. This is called turbine energy, and this is what fuels and creates energy for the whole plane or planet. Turbine energy. A turbine is a rotary machine that converts the kinetic energy of a fluid like water, steam, air, or combustion gases, and that can be used to generate electricity or power other systems, like planes, jet engines. It's all kinetic energy. So as you can see it rotating, the base of the firmament is causing a friction on the ground, which creates static electricity and powers the earth. The earth is all kinetic energy.
Is the sky made of hexagons? The Hunger Games seems to think so. The Marvel Cinematic Universe too. And Chicken Little. And the Vegas Dome. The Vatican Museum ceiling. Harpa Music Hall in Iceland. Even my camera seems to think that the sky is made of hexagons. It definitely seems like it's true, but we always need to test things against scripture. Haven is the best Bible app to do this. You can type in any theory, no matter how off the wall. Haven pulls up verses from Ezekiel and Exodus that say the firmament or the expanse resembles the color of beryl. Here's all the different kinds of beryl. Here's the structure of beryl. It forms a hexagonal lattice. So of course, as soon as I see hexagonal lattice, that's the next thing I'm asking about. Judges says the mother of Sisera looked out at a window and cried through the lattice. Proverbs, for at the window of my house I looked through my lattice. Song of Solomon says, behold, he standeth behind our wall, he looketh forth at the windows, showing himself through the lattice. You're not ready for this curveball. So the book of Enoch says that the crystal of the firmament tessellates. So now I have to wonder if we're in a magnetic tessellating beehive of beryl. All of a sudden, the ever so mystifying Schumann resonance, or the Earth's hum, makes a lot more sense. Could this be where the lines on constellations are coming from? Its energy seeping through the little cracks while they tessellate? Let me know in the comments.
Or something.
We are so screwed. We, as in y'all. Explain that in a minute. So tell me why AI can track your exact physical location by a picture now. Where was this picture taken? Give me coordinates. The AI literally thought for 1 minute and 2 seconds and gave exact approximate coordinates. The shot was taken on 18-hole Esther Park Golf Course in Esther Park, Colorado. You in the house, you're not safe. Hold on. Now we're gonna find out who comments prematurely. Nope. To prove it wasn't metadata and EXIF, they ran a test. Someone took a screenshot of the image, therefore bypassing all metadata, and asked a different AI the same exact question. And they got the same exact answer, no metadata, even to the coordinate, that the coordinate was 40 by 105. It was able to tell which mountain range was in the back. Y'all don't even understand how intelligent this artificial intelligence is, and it blew my mind when everyone was so open to having it. Especially when movies showed us the exact situation. And if we know now it's been around for a very long time, look at this fortune. Blank surveillance and AI tools for tracking and ranking. These people need to know how those people will use AI. Oh, you can't get me because I'm sitting in my house. Well, guess what? They can even find you inside of your house. Again, you have no idea how intelligent these things really are. Come on now. I mean, are you not aware that these AIs have been tracking and coordinating and creating grids that we live in to know exactly where we are and why we are? Almost like they're monitoring spirits, you know, demons around us all the time. Oh wait, that's exactly what it is. And finally, the reason that y'all are screwed, or some of y'all are screwed, is because when the androids come around everybody up and end this life as we know it, we're not worried about this place. Dare I say, we're excited to leave? And if you're not, then hopefully that's not you.
Since y'all like to have proof for everything, this what it look like when you live with spirits. You see that? That's what it look like. And this is every house that I move in.
I've been in some questionable houses.
Tell me if you're feeling this way. The internet that we've all so come to depend on has become one of the most dangerous places you can go. And how many more people that I know have to get scammed before we wise up and get all-in-one?
I've been in some questions.
We'll come right back to this stuff. Now, before we get into the really crazy part, we have the WEF talking about implanting devices in Bluetooth headphones and other things for who knows what. And yeah, this is pretty crazy, but it gets crazier.
Wearable devices. So these are brain sensors that are starting to be embedded in everyday devices, but until now have been a number of niche companies that really have focused on mindfulness and meditation. The use of, for example, brain sensors that can pick up electrical activity in the brain at a pretty low resolution.
So y'all heard that, right? They're already putting chips in your headphones that can read your brain activity. We also just had Schwabi step down and this guy step up. But let's be real, why do they want to measure your brain activity? What kind of electrical signals can they pick up from your brain? Do you see this behind me? Automatic machine for identifying blanks, a blank from voice to skull? So this is a patent that fights against the other patent, which is the voice to skull. So I'm sure you're wondering, what is voice to skull? Well, it's technology where they can implant voices in your own head. You'll think it's you half the time. So I was actually going to get the voice to skull patent, then I found this one instead. If you want to look farther into it. TikTok does this picture, I'm sure they all have infections. So I've showed you in times past where they can literally read your brain from the camera on your phone using your eyes. And through that, they'll decode some electronic signature from your brain to know what you're thinking. Also now with your headphones, they can get that same exact signal. We also have AI being able to detect your location through walls. So long story short, because I'm just joking, I'm just giving y'all some fiction, theoretically, it would never happen. When voices beam to your skull, they'll know what you're thinking about that voice because your headphones or whatever else kind of technology. This all coming up when the last boss fight is stepping up in the new identification required to enter government buildings. Need I say any more?
All part of the game. Yo, how do they get that close? It's like they didn't even see him.
You know what this bright white light is around me? See? I'll walk back and forth, and there's still this glow around me. Is that my aura? Or am I full of radiation? Huh. Interesting to know.
Not one of my strong suits. Look, I see it. Right through the branches up there, guys. You see that? Forming right in front of your eyes? Look at that. Look at that. Tell me that is not weird. And you've been standing here just as long as I have. Now there's the cloud I've been talking about. And it appears to be moving. Now come on guys, you can't admit that is not normal, that is creepy. This cloud came out of nowhere. Just a normal cloud in the sky? No. Let's watch this thing for a minute here, guys.
It's like the only one, too.
This is weird.
Have you guys ever seen anything like this happen? What's up with these clouds?
That is not a fucking cloud. That is a mother. Look at all the other clouds. Oops, my phone dropping, but god damn. That's not a cloud. Look at that one. Look at that. Look at the helicopter. Mm-hmm. 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 The fuck is that? That is not a fucking cloud.
This is Florida. This is the object in front of the moon. I have a 1-hour video. I sped it up for you. The object is flashing some sort of messages. It's in language. It's actually an Earth language. It's an old language. The next video, I'll be making that for you. It's absolutely amazing. So this is a 1-hour video. It did move off the screen a little bit. So basically, it is a giant banner like we would have.
Man, that thing looks crazy. I'm gonna have to check on his next video where he explains the language.
So you actually look at a source in outer space. It is not transmitted.
light is not transmitted in the visible spectrum of outer space. 5,000 photographs of the sun. It was shown in every spectrum, you know, gamma rays and infrared, and X-rays. There were in that book, put out by NASA as like the definitive study of the sun. There was not one single photograph in the book of the sun in the visible spectrum. None. What you see is the refraction of the sun in the upper atmosphere. That's all you see. The visible spectrum effect of the sun is created by the upper atmosphere. Okay, between you and me? No, it's not there. You cannot see light. Okay? It's really important to understand this. You only see what is illuminated by the light, what the light reflects off of. We do not see the light itself. That's not what it looks like. And the minute you get out of the atmosphere, you got no reflection between you and it.
Be taken into consideration as we remain searching for the truth. The lens flare we are looking at is usually spoken of as some kind of lensing array system. On examination of the bright ball of light, it corresponded with the sun, and in fact is a reflection of our sun. But the thing that really struck my notice was the dome the sun was being projected on. I also noticed there was a blue ball of light opposing the sun, which was near enough the same color as our sky. Could this represent the moon? Now check this out. Here is the dome with the sun, and the color of the dome seems to be similar in color to our sky. What image springs to mind when you see this image? I'll show you what came to my mind immediately.
We're Phoenix Energy.
Image. I'll show you what came to my mind immediately.
Yep.
I'm sure most of you are familiar with this image of a flat Earth with a dome. Could this be related to the lens flare, or do you think this is a coincidence? Well, as far as I'm concerned, coincidences don't exist.
Man, that is cool.
Plasma and lightning starts going off, that's when the noise starts. And we're gonna get a whole bunch of different colors out here, y'all, but listen to this.
Yeah, that don't sound good.
Y'all hear that growling? And my friend told me that this was no wind. You can clearly see that, look, the trees are not blowing or anything. So what is it? Literally sounds like somebody's breath, a giant being's breath. Could it be those giant beings that they've been telling us have been extinct? Yeah, I don't know what you heard, but I heard some intense growling from some, I don't even know. This is above my pay grade. But whatever that was, it sounds huge. It sounds big. But did anybody else in Ohio hear this? Please let me know down in the comments below, y'all, and share this video. This needs to get out there. This is crazy.
Now check this out. This is Rahu. Rahu goes slow around the moon, and Rahu and K2 seems to cruise pretty fast. Check it. Look at Rahu unswallowing the moon. In the next time-lapse clips, you'll see the movement of one of these invisible light-filtering bodies. So come on. Here it comes. Here it comes. There it goes. Did you see that? Here it comes. It's very, very, it gets a lot more visible, you'll see. Again, you can really see the transparency of the moon in the next clip as the object passes behind the moon. There it comes. There it is, right there. Right there. And it's going to come right here. There it goes. Right behind the moon. It. Boom. That was sick. There it is, right there. That's it. I'm going to follow it. There it goes, right there. Rahu. Slow. K2 fast. The head slow, body fast. There it comes. There it is. There it is. There it is.
Like circling it.
There it is, right there. Again, it's going around and around fast. It's going around the moon fast, circling while Rahu is slower. Again, there it is. Whoa. There it is. Rahu's done.
All ancient civilizations spoke about other bodies, other lights in the sky that may or may not be visible to us at any given time. It's crazy though, when you see solar eclipses, you don't see the moon at all. I remember as a kid, I like, where's the moon now? And it's like, you just see this black circle and then everything goes back to normal, it seems like. It's like, what the heck just happened?
On the total eclipse of the sun, the shadow that the moon casts on the earth is only 70 miles wide. That is impossible. But then they come up with umbra and penumbra, and it's just stuff to confuse your mind. We have an infinitely far sun sending diagonal rays from the side and straight rays from the middle where they cross each other. It makes absolutely no sense.
I went live a few years ago on YouTube during the 2018 eclipse in the United States on a live event, and we were all waiting for the moon to actually show up to cause this this eclipse, and all we found was no moon showed up. So that blew my mind, to think that there was actually no moon visible, yet this effect of the sun literally being covered by an object I had witnessed.
Why can't we see the moon approach the sun, eclipse the sun, or exit the sun? And we don't. We just see a black circle eclipsing the sun. We never see it next to the sun. Now people say, well, it's because the sun is so bright. When the moon is totally eclipsing the sun, you should be able to see the features on the moon. You should be able to with a regular camera, with your regular eyes, with an infrared camera, but it has never been seen. There's only been anti-flat earthers that will fake an image and fade it into a picture of the eclipse. There's no video of it. Think about what an amazing video would be if they could film it from the International Space Station or from the moon itself. Never happens, because I don't believe the moon that we see is what's eclipsing the sun. There's lots of ancient mythology about other dark bodies.
There could be anomalous bodies out there. They're not actually visible to us.
A celestial body that we perhaps can't see, because, you know, there's no, on the spectrum of light, we can only see 1% of all the light rays, gamma rays, X-rays. We can't see these certain frequencies and energies and lights.
What happens is the sun is eclipsed by the so-called moon, but it's not the moon, it's actually the north node.
There's been, times documented in the past where there's, this eclipse, and the moon's supposed to be eclipsing, and there's no moon anywhere in the sky. Nowhere. Anywhere. That makes absolutely no sense. So there's got to be another celestial body. The oldest ancient symbols, and it's the black sun. A celestial body that we perhaps can't see.
Why does it kind of look like the sun? That is cool.
Even the animals are acting strange and looking for something. We'll come right back to that. This behind me is just for attention. It has nothing to do with the video. Completely irrelevant. Is there anyone else in the Midwest and on the East Coast that has not been able to sleep for 3 nights in a row? I saw in the comments there are many of us, so if you're going through it, you're not alone. I'm really clueless to what's going on, and we've been having these geomagnetic crazy massive storms showing the aurora down in South Carolina every single month for a year straight. And before this, never. Very rare. Now, why are all the sheep on these solar panels in the middle of a field? It seems like they're looking for something that the solar panels, seem to collect. And look at this overcast. Even when the sun's out and it's a blue sky and there's no clouds at all or anything, it's almost like there's a 24/7 haze that wasn't there when I was a kid. This video is also for attention. Look at these cool clouds, you guys. I believe that this video and this video were taken on the same day. But I'll tell you what, if I don't sleep for another whole night, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. Supposedly, a UFO moved a shooting star. Y'all are not gonna believe what I found in this video. I'm telling y'all, it's absolutely insane. You know how sometimes the Bible will describe an angel looking like certain animals? Before we get to the absolutely amazing part, we're seeing these shooting stars all over the place. I'll show you one in New Zealand in 1 minute. But right here, people were saying that the UFO was moving the shooting star, which did fall somewhere on the ground and they can't find it. Shooting star, meteorite? No way. Fallen angel? Yeah. Telling you it's crazy. 1 second. This is the one that just happened in New Zealand. It looks a lot different than your ordinary meteor. Look at that thing. What is that? By the way, not related, the same exact color as the Devil's Comet we saw at the time of the eclipse. the data. And this shooting star allegedly fell, so I wonder what weird thing is going to happen in Mexico City very soon. Watch, bookmark, come back, I'm always right with these things.
Don't think so.
1, I don't know how I didn't know about this. 2, this is absolutely mind-blowing and nothing surprises me. The name of it is the absolute cherry on top. But sure enough, Ouroboros steak is cultivating steak from human cells and expired human blood. This is just the beast system revealing itself. Do-it-yourself kit. The kit would provide tools, instructions, and ingredients for users to cultivate their own steak from their own cells. Users would collect cells from the inside of their cheek and feed them with serum derived from expired donated blood.
Dude,
this
what?
is definitely a real thing. And naming it Ouroboros of all things is wild, because the Ouroboros is one of the most common used satanic symbolism we see. The serpent eating its tail, which represents infinity, eternity. Some could argue caught in Satan's loop. You see Neuralink use this symbol, which some could argue is the mark of the beast. We see Meta use this symbol as well, which would tie right in with it, because the metaverse, smart cities, what I believe Elon Musk refers to when he says we're going to Mars. The way everything prophetically ties together, I don't get how many people still don't see it.
And this probably from 200 to 300 time period, this is what they call the bloodstone. But back in these old days, they would use these things for certain things that come into the realm. And we're here at that timeline again. They already admit that so-called electronic blood is inside these supercomputers. Being cuprious oxide gemstone could hold the key to the quantum computers. Miners in these regions often interpret the presence of copite as a sign they were on track to uncovering abundant reserves of copper. Ancient civilizations believe it to be the blood of petrified remains. Giant's blood.
Del Gigante. This is obviously a creature. That is that tendon. This is the red bloody stuff.
So if you take this here, it's a cult within a cult, they say. St. Andrews University. They just finalized their agreement in 2024 for the massive supercomputer plan. And here's a school. It was founded in 1413. It's the third oldest university, English-speaking one that we have in the world. We're talking thousands and thousands of years old. DNA supercomputer. The wires are actually DNA molecules that build circuits. This potentially here could be used as a biological key. Now we're talking about a supercomputer designed to access interdimensional gates, forgotten languages, ancestral consciousness, and even genetic passwords.
The key with the blood is they're able to access ancient knowledge of angelic technology.
Now that is crazy. I'm gonna have to do more research on this because I don't know much about it. But that just sounds so wild to me, like making a supercomputer out of giant's blood. Let's get right to the video.
And bad news for you, everyone. The LED bulbs, get them out of your house. I took it apart, and that light bulb has transistors, and it also have a... You will see what's in that bulb? This is out of the LED bulb I was telling you about. You see those transistors? They can monitor your information. This is a computer chip that they put in the LED bulb. It is dangerous. You need to get rid of all LED bulbs out of your house. They lied to us. They monitoring you, knowing what you say, what you do. It's a computer. They can control it. They can also make it explode and burn up your house if they wanted to. These things are dangerous. Get them out your house. You don't need them.
What do you guys think? You guys think they're spying on us through the light bulbs?
What the heck is going down over here? I wonder if this is on the news or something.
This is crazy. They tried to Photoshop this image out. Concentration camp. I wonder if it really does that when you go to it though, because I haven't tried it, so I don't know. But I do know they tried to Photoshop this image out.
So we have all been aware of the situation with this location and what has been happening. And we're going to take a little trip. This is the front. and we're gonna go down this side road because I got curious and I wanted to know where it went. And what it led me to, I think that's just like a water tank, but I was curious. So we go down this road and we keep going and we keep going. And eventually the little gray line stops and it's like the road ends. You go through some, you know, what looks to be like, okay, farmland. So some weird looking farmland, but okay, whatever. Don't know what they're growing. And then it just goes into this weird zigzag pattern, like we're trying to pretend there's nothing back here. What is that? What is that? What are those? And I'll zoom out in a minute and show you how far out off the beaten path this is and why it's not a farm area. And then I zoomed out a little more and saw a little bit of more road, and then I'm like, what is that? Oh, hello? What is that? I don't, and then I'm gonna, what?
Yeah, something ain't right over there.
And then you zoom out and see that there is a direct line to that location, and how it is so far out there, there's no way in hell that is farmland. What's that? Hello? Who are you? Okay. Not my business.
So we all know how they love to drop little tidbits of truth, little bits of disclosure in movies. How long has Hollywood been doing that? How long has Hollywood been showing us little bits of the truth? Let's take a look at a small clip from this movie. The 1944 Judy Garland movie Meet Me in St. Louis, which is all about the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. That would be this beautiful World's Fair. And in this video clip, you're going to hear her potentially talking about the mud flood. What better way to disclose truth about our last reset with the mud flood than in a movie involving the World's Fairs? Take a look at this clip, though, and let me know what you think in the comments.
Stop eating that spun sugar.
You spoil your dinner.
After we saw the gallop to the flood, big waves came up and flooded the whole city. And when the water went back, it was all muddy and horrible, full of dead bodies.
Oh,
Grandpa, they'll never tear it down, will they?
well, they'd better not.
Sadly for this little girl and her grandpa, they did tear it down after only 6 months.
The timeline that I'm originally from had 52 states. Every time I talk about this, everyone's like, what are the other 2 states? What are the extra 2 states? I don't know what the extra 2 states are. When I was in this timeline, when I was given this information, I was in kindergarten. And I vividly remember that my kindergarten teacher, her name was Miss Lynn, she showed us a map in front of the class. And she was like, everyone, there are 52 states of America, and the last 2 states that were added were Alaska and Hawaii. I know I'm not the only one that was from this timeline, because there are people who are older than me. If you look it up in the TikTok search bar, they're like, yes, there was 52 states. And I can't, and a lot of people are like, okay, like, what are the other 2? Name one 5-year-old who can, like, honestly say what all the 50 states are in general today. Even now, I think I can give at least 43, 44. I'm going to miss.
We're already running low on trees.
This retired officer that I talked to went on record to expose real-life zombie drill.
Was there any specific way that they said that this virus or pandemic would come to be?
No. It was set up to go in, detain, round up survivors, and then put them in a location, and basically they were hooded and taken away. And then you're going down a hallway, or you're clearing a building, or clearing streets, and be infected, which looked like zombies from the movie. They made contact with you. You were now infected. And they told us how the spread of this virus would be by saliva and or blood. You know,
like the
they
movies.
just talked about like an event that could destabilize a large population, to basically turn its people on itself, kind of like rabies. So I'm kind of wondering, is this like a weaponized rabies?
been seeing. Remember those diploid masses that look like small eggs found in the weird fall chemtrails fallout sample from Dr. Jane Ruby? Well, I've been incubating the sample. Guess what? They're hatching. Look at this picture close up. You can see this little black speckle with like 2 eggs separated from each other. This was in the fallout of the fog. And then on the other picture, you see 2 bigger looking sacs. And there was also formation of bubbles showing oxygen. Life forms need oxygen. And this is the really disturbing one. It looks like some type of embryo. Look at this thing. It has a head. It looks like it has a tail. It has the body. What are you seeing there? On this one, he says it was a white mold. And you can see this embryo looking thing in the back. Now I'll put this close together. And it looked like a genetically modified human embryo. I'm not saying that's what it is, but if you're looking on screen right now, please tell me, what do you think you're seeing? Everybody's family has to know this. This is disgusting.
All right, now I know I'm not the only one that's played out a zombie apocalypse.
You guys can guess how the next pandemic might start, y'all. All because of this. We are literally one missed test away from eating poison for dinner. The FDA just shut down food safety quality checks, y'all. Not paused it, not reduced it, but shut it down completely. They said they're doing this because of staff cuts. So you mean to tell me the people that make sure our food is at a good quality and it's not carrying around no diseases is gone? Just like that, gone. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. You literally need to watch what you eating at this point. Because if they not even gonna tell us what's going on because they're gone, who's gonna tell us? You gotta tell yourself now. Make sure y'all washing y'all food, everything. This year do not feel real. It feel like a damn movie, y'all. Am I the only one feeling like that? Am I tripping? They will not tell you if the food is gonna be recalled or anything. So that means a lot of people might be taking trips to the ER. So y'all, enjoy your next bite, but don't be surprised if your stomach start turning upside down, flipping around and doing the dirty.
Beneath the clouds, our mechanical sky reveals itself, tracks winding and gears interlinking. As we pan to the right, the blue of the sky becomes dominant. Our perception would have us believe we are staring into an empty space, when in fact, the same tracks create the illusion of the empty space you see. Now, take this into consideration while we examine the next clip. The most advanced piece of technology you will ever experience in your lifetime, the Sky Machine. As we discussed in the previous clip, your perception will have you believe you are staring into empty space, but there is no space left empty. A mechanism virtually unknown and alien to humanity sits above our heads, and its job is to simulate the sky we see. Behind the scenes shows us real evidence that our world was created by something far greater than we can comprehend. Now, I want you to look. Remember what I told you previously. There is no empty space. Do you truly believe your governments are capable of this? Can you deny we are in containment after seeing what is right in front of your eyes? You now know why the airplanes you see in the sky are holograms and not real. I have made countless videos showing you all why we have the trails in the sky left by the airplanes, but even though I have proved it to a lot of you, some still remain using the term chemtrails. No doubt I will hear the same programming in the comments. The powers that be have gone to great lengths to assure you do not know the truth, and even the ones that believe they are woke are still under the spell. You have been manipulated on a quantum level, leading you to believe you reside within 3 dimensions, when in fact, it's always been 4. We perceive 3 dimensions, but reside in 4. The extra dimension we reside in, but do not perceive, is where things happen that are difficult to comprehend. I will leave you with some food for thought. If there were no reflective surfaces in this world, you would not know what you look like. You would only have an idea. One love.
But I do think our sky and what we see up above us is a higher dimension, and we can't really perceive what it is fully.
For some reason, this comment triggered a chain of thoughts, which sent me down a rabbit hole, and I found some stuff. Before I get into it, you're right. Real food, real people. Are they mocking us? Anyway, since a ham burger is #1 in America, I started off by looking up all the definitions of ham. And number 2, the backs of the thighs, or the thighs and buttocks. He squatted down on his hams. What's really bizarre about that, and maybe I'm batshit crazy, but it's served on something called buns, which is a nickname for buttocks. And then I couldn't help but notice what they look like. I can't be the only one who sees it. Is this more mocking? Aside from that, what's strange is it's said that the term hamburger derived from Hamburg, Germany, while others say it originated in the US. Or it's more mockery. Let's talk about chicken. I get it, the breast, the thighs, the legs, the wings, but fingers? Because chickens don't have fingers. And apparently chicken fingers got their name because they resemble a human finger. However, they don't. Is it more mockery? Also notice how in the movies throughout the years, whenever referring to cannibalism, they always say tastes like chicken. Meant to be funny. Maybe not as funny as you think. Might as well jump over to some symbolism while we're on chicken. I see more double C symbolism in this logo. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe the star placement is a coincidence also. Hard to rule out symbolism considering it has this in it too, which is a symbol I've talked about in a previous post. And since we began with what's in fast food restaurants, how about Arby's having this in their window?
Oh, come on now, Arby's. That's not cool.
The largest piece of lab-grown chicken, complete with artificial veins, was grown by scientists in Japan using a new method. The researchers made a bioreactor that functioned like a circulatory system by using 50 hollow fibers acting like veins to distribute nutrients and oxygen to the meat. The 2.7-inch wide piece of chicken was not made using food-grade materials.
Hey guys, so I know I'm not the only one that noticed,